to the Right Now Show. I'm Judy Saxon.
And I'm Charlie Redner. This is the show where we put the emphasis on writers, writing, and the arts. Hi, Judy. How's it going?
Well, just fine. And what is whirling around in your world?
Well, I have to laugh because it's a little behind the scenes things we're going to be talking about today. You and I talk each night before a show, right?
Right.
And we had nothing to talk about for this morning, but we talked for a half hour about nothing. Here's a little segment of Seinfeld, I think. Here we are.
I know.
You know. So you were telling me about computer problems, though.
Yes, computer glitches. And I realized how I am so dependent on the computer. I'll be reading, I love to read books, and something will trigger my curiosity and I'll run to my computer and I'll look it up, and then that may trigger another curiosity, and I do a lot of research.
You got to get yourself a smartphone. You can just answer your phone a simple question. You won't have to turn the computer on or go Google search. Yeah, it just comes right up.
I have so much catching up to do.
Well, anyhow.
So what have you been doing?
You know what I've been doing. I've been writing my book.
I know.
And I work with the Aqueducts every week, twice a week, and that keeps me busy.
And you're helping some people edit.
I am. I'm helping one of the Aqueducts who's written a book, and I'm helping her put it together and get it published.
That's so nice. That's so nice. And I'm sure she appreciates it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, we are going behind the scenes today, and our guest is Dave DeSantis, and he is a production coordinator here at Village Television. And David is from Redwood City, California. He went to Mercer High School in Washington. He plays music, writes songs besides his work here. He said, "I always need to be doing something creative." Welcome, Dave.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave. I hope you're a little nervous. You got to be a little nervous when you're on this side of the camera.
It's a little bit different. I've done it a few times on a couple other shows, so
right.
You know. But normally it's like a small little segment, and this is like.
Oh, you're carrying the whole show today.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on edge, but believe me, the guests make the show, right, Judy?
No pressure. No pressure at all.
You guys do great. It's always a joy working with you guys behind the camera. So this is really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We could do that for a half an hour.
Yeah. Well, so now you're from Redwood City. How did you get up to Mercer Island?
So my parents got divorced when I was about 4, and I stayed in the Bay Area, and then my mom wanted to do something other than what she was doing. She was like working at a lawyer's office. She was very involved in music and playing music, and one day she was at a music store and she was picking out a bass, and this guy was like, "Oh, can I help you, sweetie, honey?" And was like just kind of degrading. And she got all fired up and she said, "I'm going to start a magazine for women in rock and roll." So she did, and that kind of started in the Bay Area.
Wow.
And she found that Seattle was at the time was the place to be for music. And
tell me about the magazine. Was it a national magazine, a regional magazine?
It was, I believe it was
printed every month or what?
Yeah, it was a monthly publication. And then she put together a couple of conferences, and she was she was very, very involved in the music scene. And now she lives in Austin, and she's kind of left that world, but she still has a lot of friends that are still in that.
So she would interview rock and roll stars, women in rock and roll.
Yeah, like
Stevie Nicks.
I don't think she ever interviewed Stevie Nicks, but she did form a pretty good friendship with Courtney Love. Oh, so that was kind of interesting. She'd call my house every once in a while. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Ann and Nancy Wilson from Heart. So that was very cool. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people, not just performers, but authors and journalists and people of that nature.
People writing about music and
yeah. We had a really good friend actually, and this relates to your show, who wrote a book called Heavier Than Heaven about Kurt Cobain. And he actually wrote a couple books, and it was on New York Times bestseller list. My name's in the acknowledgments. Yeah, that was my little claim to fame. But
that's such an innovative thing to do, a music for women in rock and roll. Yeah. Yay for the women.
Wait a minute. Some guys in the business too are pretty nice and neat, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So then you became interested in music, I'm sure, because of your mom.
Yeah, my mom and my dad. My dad plays guitar. He started playing drums at a really young age. I think he was like 14 or 15. He picked it up, and at his high school, he went to school with Neil Sean, who played in guitar in Journey. He still plays with Journey.
Oh, okay.
And they formed a band together, and then he went on to do other stuff. Him and my mom both being musicians definitely was a heavy influence. And before I learned how to play, I would hang out with my dad and his friends, and they would all be playing, and I'd have a harmonica, and just they'd give me a solo, you know.
Oh.
So that's kind of how it started, and then I got really into like hip hop and like dance music and stuff like that. And my mom gave me a option for my birthday. She said, you can either have a turntable, a set of turntables, learn how to DJ, or a guitar. I chose the turntables. She was really upset.
Oh.
So I did that for a couple years, and then I don't know, something clicked when I was hanging out with my dad. I'm pretty sure if I could trace it back, it was to when he showed me Hell Freezes Over, the Eagles DVD, their whole like concert performance, and I was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, that looks cool. And so I started playing guitar and just kind of continued to hone my skills.
Now, who taught you? Did your father teach you the guitar, or you just?
A little bit. I'm kind of self-taught. I did take lessons, but I don't remember how to read music. I took piano lessons at a really young age, but that didn't really stick with me.
You have to do that. Mom makes you, right?
Yeah, I think everyone took piano lessons at one point or another, right? But I have a really good ear. Like I can hear something and pick it up like relatively quickly, even if it's the first time I'm hearing it.
Oh, how wonderful!
So that's it makes it really fun to play with people that you never have played with before, and like you just play a couple chords and just kind of keep
jam
riffing
with them and
yeah.
sort of
And
thing.
Nick, who also is a producer here, he plays drums, and I have a friend
Oh.
named Cameron who plays guitar. So the three of us get together every once in a while, and you know, music is kind of a universal language.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to meet somebody to know like their style. You could kind of pick up anything just by playing together, you know.
I'm
Judy,
so
do you want to
impressed.
hear something now? We're talking about music before we go
absolutely.
off.
Oh,
You want to
man.
do
Already?
something for us? Yeah, I would like to.
I'm so impressed with all this equipment.
know.
Well, nothing but the best for you guys.
Oh,
So yeah, I got this cool little contraption here yesterday.
yesterday. Oh.
Yeah, that this little thing right here
Oh, okay.
that allows you to loop yourself. So
Oh.
I'm gonna try to do a Jimi Hendrix song. We'll see.
Oh, my.
See how it works out.
Okay.
Well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running wild. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams and the fairy tales. That's all she ever thinks about. Riding with the wind. When I'm sad, she comforts me with 1,000 smiles she brings to me. It's alright, she says it's alright. Take anything you want from me, yeah. Anything. It's a little,
Beautiful. I love the echo. It's
a little, little rocky.
reverb there, a little.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this thing out.
Is that something that you heard and you just play now, or
that
you
was
ad-libbed a little here?
With the guitar, yeah, the guitar was all pretty much improv, except for the chords.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
That was when I started taking lessons. That was the first song I wanted to learn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool. Stevie Ray Vaughan does a beautiful version of that song as well. So, yeah.
I bet
That's
your
wonderful.
teacher was impressed with you.
Yeah, I think so. He actually is in a band called the Delta Wires. If you ever have a chance, hop on Google and check them out. They're very bluesy, really, really cool stuff.
Do you do gigs around the neighborhood?
You
Or not?
know, I'd like to. I'd like to kind of get back into it. It's one, tough to find the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And two, it's
Ending at 1 o'clock in the morning and having to come to work the next day,
yeah.
right?
yeah. I mean, at some point, you know, I keep talking with my friends and we're like, oh, let's just learn like 10 songs, and we
Right.
get together and work on one, and I'm like, at this rate, we're
Yeah.
we're never gonna get anything done, you know. But yeah, at some point, you know, that could be in the cards.
Right.
So where did you learn how to do all the backroom material here for the Village Television and operating at a board and becoming a technician in that area?
Well, live TV is like a completely different beast.
Right.
And you know, my background previous, like as far as video goes, was corporate video and commercials and things like that.
Right.
So you have all the time in the world to, you know, sit there and edit.
Right.
But as far as doing a live show, the first week I was here, I looked at that board in the control room and I thought, I am never going to figure out how to use this. It seemed so foreign to me, and now it's, you know, I still have my moments where I get a little frantic, but you know, it kind of becomes second nature, and it's exciting.
Isn't live TV so exciting? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was 18 when I was a producer of a live TV show in a major market. And
At 18?
yeah, right out of broadcasting school, I had a job, and it was like the Today Show. We had interview segments and cooking and all, but it was so exciting. It's a Broadway show every day, a new show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more exciting
Happens very fast.
than opening night, every morning, right?
And if anything goes wrong,
Oh.
that camera keeps rolling.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you know,
live.
we have a really solid team here, and Nick and myself are the new guys, but everybody else has been here for a really long time, and we've all gelled really well together, and it's been really fun because we've kind of got to bring our energy in,
Right.
and some of the cool like animation stuff in the intro and things like that.
Yes, yes.
And it's just been really fun to kind of like push the envelope and try new stuff, and you know, we have all these new shows coming out too
Right.
that's giving us the opportunity to really like have a lot of fun.
So who
in
makes the
editing.
call there? Who's deciding on the programming and what gets aired and what you're picking up on the network?
I believe that would be Paul Ortiz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. But yeah.
Somebody has to be in charge of programming.
Yeah.
So-
No, Paul's the man. Paul, he kind of takes the reins and.
So what is your typical day like here? Or do you even have a typical
No.
type of day? Yeah.
No. Well, the beginning of the day is always
Pretty
the
standard.
same but different. You know,
Right.
this day, 8:30 to 9:30, and we
Right.
start getting ready for the show at 7:30 when we get here. So, you know, we make sure all the lights are on. We make sure the set is set. We make
The
sure
guitar is tuned.
the guitar is
everything's-
tuned. I messed up on that this morning. I might just need to change my strings, but yeah. So we
So-
set our commercial blocks. We make sure that we've got everything ready for the
Right.
show. We have a meeting, figure out who all our guests are
okay.
going to be, who's going to be
Pre-po
on the
and
show.
do
Yeah.
that whole thing.
And then if you have a cooking segment on this day, do the guests bring the food or
Usually, yeah.
so you don't have to get into that kind of
That's done video. I mean, you tape that, right?
Sometimes, yeah, we'll pre-tape some segments. It just
Yeah.
kind of depends. A lot of the times, people's schedules don't always allow them to be here that early. So,
Okay.
but from there, yesterday we were on a shoot with Cindy Whitney, discovering Laguna Woods,
Right.
and then we had a commercial shoot in Lake Forest that we
Oh.
went to right after that. with just barely enough time to grab a sandwich in between.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we got back, it was 2 o'clock, and then worked on some editing. And I mean, every day is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It just really depends. Today we're shooting Good Day Orange County, so that's a pretty big show. It's a lot of guests. So we'll
how
be doing
many
that.
live shows do you have during the, I guess the month really, because we do a monthly. So what's the?
Live.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing quite as much live except for this day, but I'd say we probably have just like community shows.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The community shows, like the entertainment show that Tony Barr does, right? Is that
the club
or is that
show?
part of the This Day show? He comes in and does that, or is
Yeah,
that,
he does his entertainment update.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. We have all sorts of different segments and everything, and then we've also got.
The Trading Post, that's been a
Right.
staple for years, right?
Yeah, I've heard that's probably the longest running show on television. Period.
Oh.
That's never.
I think
it's never
Judy
gotten
started
canceled.
with this show 10 years ago,
Yes.
11 years ago.
Yes, it was 2007.
We might be
that
the
we
longest
started.
running club show, right?
Maybe,
might
yeah,
be.
very well could be.
We might be.
Yeah.
And there's Wellness in the Woods, and oh my goodness, there's
And the Thrive shows
And
are
the
coming
Thrive
out,
show.
right?
Yeah, we probably have maybe 15. I want to say somewhere between 10 and 15 shows on a monthly basis.
And Video One is producing a show that they send over now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's a
Nash
lot of
is doing
fun.
interviews, and they're coming on, aren't they, as well?
Who's that?
Nash over at Video Club, Video
Yes.
One.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Nash.
Yeah,
He's sending over.
he's been
'cause-
on the show in the morning. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, and every show
Yeah.
kind of brings its own thing to the table.
Its
you
own
know?
energy, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're all a little different.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get to know people in the community and what's going on and hearing about upcoming things, and yeah, it's a good thing.
It's always really fun to tell people about Laguna Woods Village too, because a lot of people like know it's here, but they don't know
No.
really, like, I mean, it's so vast. There's so much going on, and there's so many like interesting people that I've met, and they've
Right.
almost 2 years that I've been here.
What are there,
It's been really cool.
250 clubs here? Something.
Well, when I moved here, there were over 200, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Are there other club shows that you do? Is there anything that's sponsored? You have to be sponsored by a club. We're sponsored by the Writers Club, of course, but there's...
Yeah, I believe you have to be sponsored
Yeah,
by a club.
right.
Yeah, we all kind of have our own like shows that we work on, and then we've also got a sports talk show. That's
Oh,
another one I forgot
right.
about.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
Yeah,
that's
Nick produces the sports
that's
talk
new.
show.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. When did that start?
11:30 on Thursday mornings, I believe.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Now tell us about your website. It's Big City Dreams ENT.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. It was so clever. It was a sketch.
I haven't seen her
I think it was
since
called The Job, whatever.
years. I know, and she bought us around. I know, every time I tell her, Janet, don't do that. Hey, listen, I gotta go, my interview's here. All right, 12:30 sharp. You're an animal, Bill. Okay.
Yeah.
And
the
you
interview.
played the owner of a company, and this very laid back applicant came in. It was so clever, and your expressions were wonderful. You're good at acting too. But now what kind of service do you do there? Do people come in and say, I want a video made for my company or for a resume or what?
Yeah, well, prior to my position here, I was freelancing, so that was sort of my hub for freelance work.
I see.
And I did a really cool interior design show that
Oh.
I was going up to the Bay Area to shoot. It was a web series, and then like we would do fun stuff like the comedy stuff and
It's so funny.
yeah. So I keep that just for kind of like my personal projects now
Oh, I
and
see.
the stuff that I
Okay.
do outside of
Yeah.
Laguna Woods.
Would people come to you for a commercial or for...
Yeah, more so now it's been a lot of like music related stuff. And,
How about
and-
book trailers now? They're becoming popular. Would you do a book trailer?
Yeah.
People, because I have a lot of people that, there's some really super book trailer. They look like a movie trailer, but it's
Yes.
for a book, and they're doing really wonderful
I've never
things.
seen that before.
There are 5 or 6 of them out there. Matter of fact, I'm putting a show together for you guys eventually. It's about all the writers clubs and doing a video.
That's right.
And
yes.
I'm going to use Nancy Clan. She has this, I'll show it to you. It's going to be in the show because it's wonderful.
Very cool.
It looks just like, it's suspense filled and the music, and
Oh.
you don't need a lot of voiceovers, but you can do stuff with animations, and oh boy.
Well, yeah,
you could go
the
crazy.
Big City Dreams originally, like what we were gonna make, we were trying to be a clothing company, and it went in a completely different direction. And this was like 10 years. I've had the name for about 10 years now. So when I lived in San Francisco, my friend and I started a podcast, and the whole concept was interviewing and discovering bands and music. There's so many artists out there.
Right.
So we were giving them a platform to like, hey, like send us your music and we'll put it out. And we were getting about like 1,500 downloads a month. And
So
this
you
was
make
kind
money
of,
off the downloads? You get
if we would have kept doing it, I'm sure we would have, because
Yeah.
we were sort of at the
edge of
the beginning of the podcast thing, and now I mean everybody and their mother has a podcast. So it's
Really?
like,
Oh.
yeah, it's really not as much of a niche thing, But that being said, I mean, with anything, with writing, with music, with video, if you're making content that relates to people
Right.
and people enjoy, people will watch it, they'll read it, they'll listen to it.
Yes.
And I'm a firm believer in that. So it's
That's a
just
good
kind
attitude.
of, yeah, I've just sort of channeled, my passion into different ways, and every day I'm doing something creative, and it's
Isn't
it's
that
fun.
wonderful? And you write
you
music.
write, yeah. Tell us about your writing.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of hip hop music, believe it or not, and just recently in the last year I've started playing a lot more guitar, and now I'm engaged, and it's I will say it's really hard to write music when you're not depressed and lonely. Because like now, it's like now everything's great. Nobody wants to hear about that.
No,
Shuck the
no.
girl. It's time. Let's get you back to being miserable.
Yeah, we want to hear about broken hearts.
Yeah, I mean the best music kind of comes from pain,
Oh.
So, but I've found a way to write songs that sound like they're a love song, but not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working on some stuff, and I'm hoping to like record.
Is that
some
the only
stuff
type
this
of
year.
writing you're doing? Is lyrics and?
Yeah, I was telling you, in relation to the sketch, the interview
Yes.
sketch.
Yes.
My friend and I have a bunch of ideas that we're working on. We shot this homage to a popular YouTube series called Hot Ones, where they eat chicken wings that get progressively hotter. And actually,
funny.
yeah, it's really fun. It started as like kind of a goofy thing, and like last week Tyra Banks was their guest, and like
Wow.
it's just continued to it got written up in the Wall Street Journal. It started as kind of a jokey thing, and now it's like really popular. So we did our own version of that.
That's funny.
And I'm working on some other stuff, doing some very like food centric kind of videos
Oh,
and things
okay.
like that. So yeah.
Now, what do you do with the songs when you write them? Do you submit them to someone? I'm not that familiar with the songwriting.
Now, there's so many outlets like via the internet and YouTube, SoundCloud. There's all these websites where you can upload your music and people can listen to it. And it's a great thing, but it's also a really tricky thing because
How do you get paid from that, or you
Exactly.
don't? Or you do it for the love of the music?
yeah, it's
I do it
kinda-
for the love of the word. Like we publish this anthology, and you know.
yeah. Well, like I said, if there's people out there that will relate to your work,
Right.
and you just have to put it out there, and word of mouth is the
Word of
best
mouth,
kind
yeah.
of way to spread it. So.
Yeah. And Facebook, I suppose you could
Yeah.
mention it on Facebook.
Oh,
that-
everybody's got a Facebook
yeah,
page, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
powerful
that,
tool.
That could be right, a powerful tool. That's right.
A lot of Dave DeSantis out there looking for you, and it's like, it goes on and on and on. There must be,
Yes.
and they're not only DeSantis, they're Daves, and Davids, and there's a million of them out there.
There's too many of us.
Wow, you are a busy man, and you are engaged. I read that on your Facebook.
That's
So
right, yeah.
That's exciting.
That's like a job in itself. Just planning a wedding. There's a lot
That's
more
not-
goes into that than
That's
I.
not
than I
your
thought.
job. You just have to show up.
Hey, I'm part of the process, man. I'm
Okay.
fully committed.
Oh.
Things have changed. It
Wonderful.
used to be the women, the mothers, and everybody. We have to
Yes.
wrap it up,
I
sweetie.
can't believe
know.
it. I can't believe it.
Flies by.
Well, when you have talented
I
people
know.
and the guests
I
make the show, and
know.
we've had a show. We have
We
to
have.
kind of wrap it up already, Judy.
This has been so enjoyable.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you,
David.
Dave.
No, thank you. My pleasure.
Well, do you have some words?
I have a
to-
couple of words, and I even
It's
found
like-
them this time. And there's two short ones. One's from John Lennon here.
Okay.
If everyone demanded peace instead of another television set, there'd be peace. And that was John Lennon. And then television, a medium so called because it's neither rare nor well done. And that was Ernie Kovacs. And he was,
I remember.
he goes back, he started in Philadelphia in the 50s, and he was avant-garde kind of guy in television, did crazy things.
Yes, yes, I remember. Well, this is from Betty Friedan. Aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. And we've talked about that today. I mean, all
Yes.
the opportunities that we're surrounded
Right.
by here in
Wow.
Laguna Woods Village. Don't forget the Writers' Show, the Writers' Club, second Friday of the month, 3 o'clock in the Performing Arts Center. Thanks
Are
again,
you Judy
Dave.
Saxon? I'm
Thank
Charlie
you.
Redmond.
I'm Judy Saxon. Yes.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. See you soon.